Hey everybody, what's up? How's everybody doing? This is DJ InsyX right here, and you're at the Insyx Show with your host right here, InsyX Piranha. And today we have an awesome guest. He is, well, he's an artist, and blogger, and all-around cool guy. Please welcome Eddi Haskell to our show.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, InsyX. Looking forward to today's show.
All right, well, I have such a great amount of questions to ask you, but you know what? The first one should probably be about your name.
I took my name Eddi Haskell because I wanted to be named somebody famous in Second Life, and there were two famous last names available, Haskell and Priestley. I came close to being Jason Priestley, but there was absolutely nothing available like the name Jason, the guy from 90210. He was my first choice, and Eddi Haskell is the most obnoxious teenager in American history, from Leave It to Beaver, and he was my second choice. So here I am as Eddi Haskell.
Ah, cool. So there's really no parallel between, like, the Eddi Haskell of TV and yourself. I mean, do you go around, like, I don't know, do you have a beaver that you go around and pick on every day?
Well, I kind of distance myself, from Beaver and the TV show and, things in general named Beaver. But I think I'm kind of like Eddi. Eddi was a bit of a wise guy, a wisecracker. He was also a total brown-noser, and I've been known to do that. I think Eddi is a cool guy, He went around the show and he charmed his way through life through insincerity. I'd like to think I'm sincere, though, but there's something very funny happening with the name. There's a very famous blogger named Prokofye Niva, and she's pretty negative about a lot of things, and she's always trashing Eddi Haskell. She's always talking about Eddi Haskellisms, and around 7 or 8 times a year she's writing negative things about Eddi Haskell. I get so many IMs asking me, what are you doing to piss her off, Eddi? She's a powerful lady. It's really hysterical. She has no idea who I am, but she keeps on writing about me.
Oh, okay. Oh, the blog wars. You gotta love them. So also, you are a photographer as well. We've seen that on your blog and stuff. Tell us about what do you look for, and when you're doing your photography, um, what are your impressions? Who do you tend to look at, and everything? Just give us the whole spiel of your photography and everything.
Well, photography is a new thing for me in Second Life. I'm not really trained or anything. I am trained in art. I went to art school for a while and did a lot of painting and sculpture, but I sort of got into photography here. I primarily like landscapes. They're really my first choice and love. When I do people, I tend to look for hot guys at clubs, handsome individuals, nice-looking ladies, and just photograph them. I like to do lots of fashion shots. I like to do clubs. I like to photograph people dancing and movement. I really don't like studio shots with artificial light. I'd like to think I've photographed just about, hundreds of people in the gay community and outside the community. But photography is really my first love. I just love it here. And I'm also starting to get into machinima right now, making movies. All in all, design and my partner Yago are my two favorite things in Second Life. Also my alt, Rice Sky Tower, who I have a lot of fun with, is another thing I like to do here.
Cool. Yes, yes. A lot of people have alts and everything, but yeah, Rice, technically that's like I said, I told you before, like, Rice technically is not really an alt because since everybody already know that he is you and you are him, he's more of I guess a second personality. I guess you could say it's the alt, but for me, usually a definition of an alt is usually like, one that's like secretive, one nobody knows who that other person is that's also your personality and stuff. Um, um, but anyway, moving on. What on the club scene and stuff like that? I've seen you like to take pictures for certain clubs and everything, and when you're at certain parties and stuff like that, which I guess is definitely a good way to look, see the movement and different backgrounds, different lighting and stuff like that with people dancing. Tell us your experience with the club scene, especially in the LGBT community, and also any aspects on clubbing that you want to give to us.
Okay, I do have some clubs I like to go to, but my goal is to photograph every single gay club in Second Life. I really don't want to play favorites. I want every club to get some photographs done. I love all clubs. I love movement. I like dancing, and that's where I think I get my best photos. Lighting effects, the club scene on the gay and lesbian scene in Second Life is just so important. It's where we get together to have good times and meet each other and express ourselves and listen to great music by the great DJs in Second Life, such as yourself and other people who you're working with and other DJs who are getting started. And all in all, clubbing really, I think, is the most important thing we do together as a community.
Oh yes, it's definitely fun times and everything. That and also like what I also love is like shopping and everything. But that's an addiction I'll talk about later. Anyway, let's talk about you and Yago. Yes, indeed. I figure I might as well give you some time to speak about him because like I'll probably kill you if you don't. So, tell us how you first met and everything.
Well, Yago, I call him Yago. We will be together as partners for 3 years on November 28th. And I'm very much in love with Yago. He's from Brisbane, Australia. He really makes SL a very special place for me. Yago and I met at a very romantic place in Second Life. We met at TriStars. Yago picked me up in TriStars, and we got together. And I don't know if anybody really knows TriStars, but it really is a pickup place out there. And we just met one day and have been inseparable since. Yago and I think this is very important, we take Second Life with a sense of humor. We don't approach Second Life as a substitute for real life. To us, this is a place all by itself. It's funny. We see the humor in Second Life a lot. For example, we have 6 VKC dogs, and they're total characters. And if you can see humor in a software program that could make a pet dog funny, you see that Special Life is a very, very special kind of place. Yago is very intelligent. He's a great designer. He's great with people. He really is a very special guy, and I think I'm really lucky in that somebody can put up with me for 3 years.
Cool. He is a very cool guy. Also, tell us about well, one other thing about Second Life that I love is the fact that it's an extension of certain aspects of real life. So there's certain things that you may not be able to do, or maybe not even fathom thinking about doing in real life, but then you start doing it in Second Life. So it's a good place for like to pick up new things that you want to do. Besides photography and blogging and cinema, what are other certain things that you may want to or may want to try your hand at in Second Life, or or stuff that you have done before that you just don't really do right now?
One thing that I want to do more of, I did more of in the past, is fundraising. I have fundraised for a series of homeless shelters in Boston, Massachusetts, called Bread and Jams. They can be found at www.breadandjams.org. I started doing charity work for Bread and Jams 4 years ago, and one of the best things I think I've ever done that made me feel really good, and it was 4 years ago, is there wasn't going to be a Christmas dinner for 70 homeless people 4 years ago in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They came to me and said, "Can you help us raise $2,000? That's what they said for dinner. We put on a series of fashion shows. We did around 3 of them 4 years ago. We got the fashion agencies to help us. I remember MAD just made a major donation and really helped us out 4 years ago. And due to what we did in Second Life, and it may not sound important, and it wasn't 70 people, it was 70 homeless families, had a Christmas dinner because of the work we did here. And it just felt good, you know, you can think about this. I used to have more time to do fundraising, and there's still kiosks around for Bread and Jams, but I would like to do more. We raise money for Haiti here. I handled one of those efforts with the gallery, the gallery group of 500 galleries. We raised a few $1,000s. I've never raised tens of thousands of dollars like American Cancer Society has. But whenever I raise money, it just feels so good for people in need. Now we're on a fundraising effort to counter teen suicide prevention. And I'm working with, a bunch of us are working with Second Pride in establishing an outreach group here in Second Life. So if there's any teen on the grid, whoever is contemplating suicide, they will have somewhere to turn to 24 hours a day. And we had our first event with Second Pride 2 weeks ago, and that felt good. And people tend to look at Second Life in the outside world like, oh, you're having sex there, everybody there is like a loser. We saw this thing about sex and sex and sex in this movie that was on the Oprah channel or something. Wrong. There is so much good that happens right here in this place in terms of meeting people, outreach, charity work. It's a positive, and we need more positive PR going on, I think.
Yes, that's one of the things that I definitely look at strongly against, is how certain people perceive Second Life and everything. I mean, yes, there's always going to be a bad apple within the bunch. That happens anywhere, any society, any group. But there's a lot of good that does happen within Second Life. And one of the things that I like about it is the fact that I have known people who were sick and somewhat incapacitated in real life, and a Second Life definitely passes the time for them, being that they can't go walk around or outside and do things normally like everybody else anymore, but yet they still have a outreach for communication, a semblance of real life, and also, once again, doing things that you normally can't do in real life, or you haven't thought of doing in real life, starting some new venture or whatever, DJing, clothing, art stuff. This all plays hand in hand. One of the questions I want to ask you is, well, this is more in line with the whole fundraising thing, definitely. What other agencies do you feel that people should go out and look for and try and bring them into Second Life to bring awareness for other real life causes?
If there is some sort of synergy between what we do here in Second Life and what the charity organization does, you have to think about this. One thing that we don't really look at Second Life upon, but it really is, it's social networking, it's communities, it's the power of a group. 5 years ago, and this is interesting, most people thought Second Life and Facebook were really on the same level, that either Second Life would make it and be big, or Facebook would make it and be big. Facebook made it. Second Life really is on a holding pattern. And, I've thought about this, and why aren't we growing here? People can say that land is too expensive, and my pet gripe is that the interface is way too difficult to use. Like, oh no, I have to learn to use another viewer this month. I just learned a new one last month. It's like learning a whole operating system. But I think what we have to do is really look upon our community, our gay community, what we are, and try to harness the power of collaboration and doing things together. We have a newspaper in Second Life, Gay World News, for example, and I really mean this. It would be overboard to saying the Gay World News is as good as the gay publication for New York or London or Berlin, Germany. No, they are a little bit bigger. But any medium-sized city with 5 million people in the metropolitan area, for example, Phoenix, Arizona, Manchester, England, Stuttgart, Germany, would be delighted to have a publication like we have in Second Life with Gay World News as a focus for us to do things together. It just goes to show what creativity and groups can do here and commitment. And what can we do? I think we have to harness creativity and community more than we are. That is, I think, our future of growing and our future as a group.
Last week when we had Spike on our show, I brought up that whole ruling that happened in Michigan, pretty much where pretty much the ruling is it's okay to bully or to go against somebody's pride, religion, color, bashing, or whatever, as long as they say they're doing it for religious beliefs. The reason why I'm bringing this up once again a week later is because I originally saw this article on your blog, as well as Joe My God and a couple other places. So since you're here, and since I read it firstly from your blog, I just want to get your views on what's happening in that state of Michigan. And to everybody else in the world, Michigan is one of the states in the United States.
Oh, I love Michigan. In fact, I'm driving a car with Michigan custom license plate holders right now that say Go Blue, University of Michigan. I went to the university there, and I'm a huge fan of the football team. So I'm kind of disgusted that the state of Michigan, which really traditionally is a very liberal union state, has managed to elect this far right-wing governor and legislature, which basically legalized gay bullying. It's horrible. It's a horror show. Michigan's been a heavy Democratic state, and maybe there's an aberration going on that we can change in the state in a few years. But it's for any state to say it is appropriate to bully anyone, gay or straight, based on religious or moral beliefs. What sort of religion condones bullying? What sort of religion condones a teenager killing themselves? What kind of sick people are we dealing with, And I was outraged when I read that. What can we do? We can, one thing we did here was we raised a lot of money for President Obama in 2008. I was part of that effort. And maybe we can mobilize voting here and make sure that this right-wing revolution, which really stands to make gay Americans second-class citizens, doesn't go any further. Half the people in Second Life, when I looked at the numbers, are not American. It's around a 50 breakout right now in our community. So if we talk about the U.S. a lot, there are other good things happening. The country of Brazil right now is right on the verge of legalizing gay marriage. They should do it in a year or two. That would be 200 million people that can get married. The United Kingdom, incredibly, the head of the Conservative Party in Scotland is a lesbian. And the Conservative Party in the UK, by the way, I'm also a British citizen, I have 2 passports, has announced that they support gay marriage and it should be passed in around 2 years. So if we lose our American-centric focus, we can realize that gay rights are progressing in other parts of the world faster. And, congratulations, InsyX. You're from New York, and I understand that you even might, are you planning a wedding, or have you had one already?
Oh, wait, how come this became my interview? No,
I switched it.
when the fact is, we have the right to now, which is good. But right now, when we're ready, we will. And, that's what counts. It's the fact that when we're ready, we can. Not, we have to wait for. So, I'm happy just the way things are right now. But if you're looking for the invitation in the mail, you might get one.
Well, I had an idea that we could have a simultaneous wedding. I'll even be the minister if you want. I've done some weddings here, and you and Donnie's Avatar can get married in Second Life at the exact same time if you decide to get married in real life whenever. How would that be?
Yeah, that would be like me. He has to make an Avatar.
The weddings in Second Life, I have done a lot of weddings in the past, probably 50 to 60 as Reverend Eddi. And one thing I want to bring up that is interesting is I also do a lot of straight weddings, or did. I cut back a bit. For straight people who can get married anywhere, weddings are really fun. Some of them are jokes. Some of them are obviously, well, what are we going to do today? Let's get married. Some are very serious, but for gay and lesbian people, weddings are much more serious. And a lot of times you have people here who just can't get married in real life, and they meet here, or they've come from real life and have a real wedding here. And it's one of the things that makes this environment special for us. Hint, InsyX.
Yes, that actually definitely makes sense, being that, it's kind of as opposed to somebody, that's comparative to somebody living in New York and somebody coming to visit New York. It's like, if you live in New York, it's like, oh, yeah, you have the Statue of Liberty's in the harbor, yeah, the top of the rock, yeah, okay, whatever. Somebody who comes into New York, I want to go to that Statue of Liberty, I want to go to the top of the rock, and stuff like that. So it's kind of the same exact thing. I definitely agree with you. Straight couples, marriage is already in the bag for them, and it's like, in Second Life, some does it for serious reasons, others does it just because it's just a thing to do for the day and stuff like that. For us in the LGBT community, it's like we're the tourists, going to visit the Statue of Liberty. We don't take the stuff for granted because this is a new plane for us. One last question: where do you see yourself in, let's say, 5 years in Second Life, if it still exists?
It will be here in 5 years. It may be in a different form. It may have new owners, but Second Life will be here in 5 years, and I would not be surprised if I'm still with Iago. I would love to be living with Iago in real life, but we've talked about it, and it's highly doubtful I can move to Australia, or he could move to the United States, so that may not happen. Who knows? We can't look in the future that far, but I think in 5 years I will be here. I want to get back into heavy-duty building here. I really enjoyed that, and I haven't been doing that. Building things, designing things, photography. I've toyed around with starting a high-end magazine and doing more photography that way. I want to do more fundraising. I'll tell you what I don't want to ever do again is own a club or co-own a club. Club ownership is not for me. It requires a really tough personality, and I can't do that. I tend to say yes to everybody. And you can't do that if you own a club. But I really want to I think I'll be here, and I want to do things better than they are right now that I have been doing. And help people. I really want to help people as much as I can by doing fundraising and maybe starting more outreach groups. And hopefully you will be here because, going to hear you DJ and going to your clubs has been great, InsyX.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Eddi, for joining us here, and thank you, everybody, for
Thank you.
enjoying another edition of the Insyx Show here at Gay World News. Any information and links and everything, I'm sure will probably be posted below wherever this video is posted at. And I'll see you guys next time for another edition of the Insyx Show.